to the 2018 edition of August Accountability. Hashtag goals are important. We are going to get on the way this morning, and our first guest is Naomi Greenlee. She's the creator and host of Naomi's Boss Moves. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh,
for sure.
You're welcome. I have admired your work for a while.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Naomi does some really good work in the community, highlighting community leaders, business owners, really informational segments. So tell us first where they can find your episodes.
Well, it's always uploaded on YouTube, Boss Moves with Naomi Talk Show. If you just type in Boss Moves with Naomi, and you'll see some of the excerpts of the show. I have them in like 4 different segments.
Okay.
So you'll see a segment at a time. It won't be straight 1 hour show, but it's 4 segments.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've actually attended some of her recordings. They've been good informational pieces. I don't think I've been to one where I thought, oh, this is not good. Yeah, nah, she's doing some good work.
Thank you.
So when I asked you to be a part of August Accountability, what did you think? How did you think your profession and the work that you do fit into August Accountability?
Well, one thing, Stacia, sometimes I say, you know, we kind of think alike because my talk show, and I did not even realize when for my talk show that you had yours going, so it was just something that we do alike. So I thought maybe that's what really drew you into what I'm doing professionally is the talk show.
Okay. It was what you do on the talk show, because I've been to different talk shows, and I've just kind of sat back and said, oh, okay, yeah, they might want to. What you go back to the drawing board on that? Yeah. So if you can tell us about other areas that you specialize in, like how did you migrate into doing the talk show that you do?
Well, because I'm much a talk. I talk so much. I think that's what kind of geared me here, just like natural for me. Basically, when I was in college, let's see, I majored in business, but I started thinking, you know what, I should have majored in journalism because that's what I really love. And my thing is that I like highlighting individuals and other people. And the reason it's called the Boss Moves is because I like to see what boss moves people made to get where they are today, because a lot of times in life you have to make boss moves to get from point A to point B. You can't just coast into there and be effective. You have to make some real strong boss moves, and that's why I highlight that on my show.
In the professional quadrant, we talk about setting goals for yourself. Sometimes they're career related.
Right.
Sometimes they're about your education, so your knowledge power. Sometimes it's about your finances. And you talk about that within some of the segments about getting your finances in order. And so when we look at the professional quadrant in its totality, what you do aligns a lot with that quadrant.
Thank you. Yeah, because on finances, I do talk a lot about that. On my show, like I said, I have 4 segments, and one of the segments is about finances all the time, and I give tips. Sometimes I give basic tips that you and I can do on an everyday basis that will help increase our finances. One of my shows that encouraged me to do that was a gentleman that I had on there, and he really inspired me in the financial area. He's a billionaire, and I had him to come in and to share with us. And some of the tips that I give are from him. So I think we can take information from a billionaire, right?
Oh, yeah. I know I can. But they also tell you about in your professional relationships, and one of our guests from last year is here. Yolanda talks about strategic alliances, and I built on that considerably last year. Can you tell us a little bit about how you may be strategic in who you invite to the show? Like, what are some of your decision strategies that you use?
Good question, Stacia, because sometimes I do have people to introduce me to people and say, hey, this person would be good on your show. However, there is a reason for the show, a definite reason. And I make sure that they have a compelling story. I make sure that they have come from a certain level of maybe even a struggle, and they made boss moves to get where they are today, and they are successful in that area. They don't have to be a billionaire, but they have to be successful enough so when I have them on the show, the audience, they're being affected, and they can say, you know what? I was going to give up, but look at what they did. Look at what they came through. They didn't stop. They didn't give up. So I have to have a story like that I think is going to be compelling and effective and something that'll change someone and encourage them to keep going and make boss moves in their lives to get to where they want to be in life.
So you're looking for people, and you align yourself with people who are willing to share their information to help others.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I find that a lot. I mean, you know, it's out there a lot of people have great stories of where they've come from. And it could be everyday people sitting in the seats, but they have made great strides to get where they're going. Because it's so easy to sit back and not do anything and say, I'm going to. I believe right now it's definitely not a time to just continue to dream. It's a time to actually be about it, to do it, to be active, to work on it, to make some strides and make some boss moves, do some things that you felt you were not able to do, that you were afraid to do. I always said, do it afraid. I do stuff afraid. I might be shaking, but I'm gonna do it. Because how am I gonna get to the next level if I don't start?
Right.
You gotta start.
Yeah. One of the things I know that I did this year was being a lot more selective about who I spend my time with and who I give energy to.
Oh, wow,
And one of the things that I did, you know, you all keep journals? You all keep journals? Okay. So this is my networking journal. This is my networking journal that I've been using. And what I do is when I meet new people, I write their name in the journal. And then I write down my first level of contact with them, their business cards, what actually came out of that. Did I call them and they called me back? Did we actually feed into one another? Did I feel like they were a viper? They were just sucking from me and not willing to give back? And it really helped me hone in where I was going to spend my energy in 2018. And everyone doesn't know what has happened in my life in 2018, but I've made some significant professional strides because I was more, what do you call, tenacious about who I was spending my energy on. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of
And so we're
sense.
really highlighting that in the professional quadrant, that while you may not be a boss, you may not be a business owner in the
Right.
sense that's what people typically think
Right.
when you're talking about bosses. If you may not be a boss or a business owner, but you need to be the boss of your life. Does that make sense? That we really need to be strategic about how we go, setting our goals, moving to the next level.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
agree
So you
100%.
have what you share, I like, the ABCs of success.
Yes.
Now, I don't want you to go through the whole, I want to give them something to wait, you know, like to say, let me go Google Naomi. Give us some of the things that you have in the ABCs of success.
Okay, there's a thing that I do is called the ABCs of getting to a place called there.
Okay.
And the place called there is where we're all striving. Everybody is striving to get to somewhere, right? We want to reach that goal and get to that place that we know that's calling us. And so I came up with this thing from A through Z, getting to the place called there. So I won't say them all.
Okay.
But just starting out with A. You know, it's just, when I say these are things that you do yourself, that you're going to have to do.
Okay.
So A, accept your challenge, accept the calling in your life, accept your failures, accept your success. So these are accountabilities. It's your responsibility to do this thing. So B, be strong, be courageous, be there, be on time, be in it, right? C, change your mind from where you are to where you're supposed to be. So don't stay there. Change your mind. D, I'm not going to do them all. Develop yourself. Develop yourself. Read a book. Go someplace you've never been before. Develop yourself. E, evaluate those who are in your life.
Okay.
Like she mentioned, you know, those who might be sucking at, evaluate those who are in your life.
Those, what y'all
I
think?
can go on.
Yeah. It's pretty good, right? When I heard them, I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I need some ABCs. We're going back, yeah. But it's, you know what it reminded me of? Just going back to the basics.
Right.
Because those are things that we've heard before, but how imperative is it for us to go back, evaluate, and look at the core things that help us get to the next level? Because
Right.
sometimes we'll forget it. Sometimes
Right.
we're like, oh, okay, like losing weight. You know, you're like, just don't eat the chicken and waffle. Don't eat 2 or 3. You know, just eat 1 cupcake. You know that, but once you get to a certain level, you're like, oh, I'm looking good. I can eat 2. No, you can't. There's a reason for that. So that's why I like the ABCs. But what is it? I said the ABCs of success, but that was wrong. What is it? The ABCs
The
of getting
ABCs
to
of getting to a place called there.
getting to a place called there. Okay, it's about the journey.
It's about the journey.
It is about the journey.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So how did you make the shift from corporate America to doing your own independent thing?
Well, I decided after working for AT&T for about 30 years, I retired.
Ah,
Yeah.
AT&T.
In 2011. AT&T, you're like,
I'm indebted to them for life.
uh-oh. Well, I decided to retire. I was up for a promotion, another promotion, and I decided I've given you enough. I've given you almost 30 years of my life. So it's time for me to stop just sitting in the cubicles making somebody else rich and step outside of that and do something. There's a lot in us that we need to bring out, but some people forget so much of what they're there for because they reading the graphs and, you know, got a quota to meet. And you can't even think about the desires of your own heart, the things that God already placed inside of you that you should be doing that I'm missing out on because you're not doing. So I decided, I decided that I need to step out and do some other things as well. If I want to work a job, fine, but I've got to get this in me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what were some of the things, oh, you want to clap? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. What were some of the, what were some of your initial steps to actually changing that, making that shift?
Making that shift,
yes.
Okay. Of course, the decision in my mind, like I said, change your mind from where you are to where you need to be. I had to change my mind from thinking more years of working for someone else to now I'm going to step out and I have this thing in me. What is it I really want to do? I don't know anybody in this area, in this field that's doing this. What do? I do it afraid. So I went out and began to talk to other people about, you know, I want to do this talk show. That's basically what I did. That's not the only thing I've done. I've done a lot of things. Travel agent, everything. I'm just one of those people that have a lot of stuff in me. I do a lot of stuff. We all have it, you know, Stacia? Because I always told you Dr. Stacia, Mrs. and Sister, and all she got all these titles, right? So we all have a lot of things in us, and we're not pouring them out. So my step that I did, I made a decision that I'm going to do something about it. So I decided I'm going to do a talk show for this time. And I, and I found a location, and I asked them if I could do my shows there. I sat down, and I wrote how I want the show to go. I want 4 segments. I want a theme song. Hey. So I got my theme song. I had to, you know, have someone. I wrote this theme song. Right. Yeah, mindset. I wrote out the words to the song and had somebody to do it for me. And then I just started writing everything down. So I always say, ink it, don't think it. So you want to write this down. You don't want to forever be a dreamer, ever a dreamer. You know, it brings me to a scripture that says, we don't want to just be hearers of the word and not doers, because guess what? You're deceiving yourself when you do it that way. So my thing to do is to write it down and make it happen.
Execution. Yeah. Ink it.
Don't think it.
There, that's a nugget. Yeah, Yolanda did that for us last year. That's a nugget. You know, the shirt this year says, dreams without plans are nightmares. Yes. You know, it used to bother me when people say, dream big. No, I need you to plan big. I need you to set some goals and a plan and execution. So I never told my kids, dream big, dream outside. No, what you doing? What's the plan? What we going to do? You know, and I think that we need to hear that, because there are so many things around us telling us that we cannot do it. And so when you talk about your plan and how you got to the actual execution of the program, we can apply that to any area of our life and really execute it. So I think it's good. Yeah. I'm excited.
Thank you.
So talked about the finances of it. Being an entrepreneur, going from corporate to the private sector, because there are a lot of talk shows out there. When you look at the finances of being independent, can you think of some of the sacrifices that you made in order to have your thoughts, everything else manifest, to actually pull it all the way through? What were some of the sacrifices you made? Because people see the glamour. But they don't see the sacrifices, right? Unless you my best friend and my cousin friend. Sorry, I hit the mic. But unless you the 2 or 3 people that I call all the time, and I won't be texting anymore.
Well, well, one of the sacrifices, you know, I want to take cruises and do all that good stuff. So I had to not do the cruise right now, pay the water bill. So just, you know, prioritizing. And some things that I may think that I just had to have, realize I didn't really have to have it. It wasn't a had to have, it's just a want. So we have to sometimes do the things that other people don't want to do so you can eventually have the things that other people won't have. Because you made those sacrifices. So like my sacrifice, like I mentioned, not spending the money anywhere. Not doing everything. I can't make it and do everything all the time and go out of town with you and her. So I have to sit back and just prioritize. So the main thing I had to do was prioritize. And sometimes people do not like to set a budget.
No.
You know, that's like a bad word in some people's minds.
And people don't like you when you set a budget.
Right.
When you say I have $20 for entertainment,
Exactly.
so no, I won't be coming to Gloria's this Friday.
Right.
You know, they're like, you never go out. Yes, I do. I just don't go to Gloria's every Friday night.
Exactly.
You know, it's just one of those things. But I think society is telling us that you can have your best life now. Which means you can get whatever you want now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, really, if you're trying to have your best life, some people are pressured into that, and it makes for a more stressful life because you're trying to always keep up, as in my day, back in the day, we used to say keep up with the Joneses, now they say the Kardashians, but keeping up with the Joneses can really keep you set back, you know, because see, that's their journey. What is your journey? Your journey may have you taken to going east and you trying to go west because that's where the Joneses are.
And the Joneses may have gotten an inheritance.
Right. Right?
I mean, that's the truth, you know.
And the Joneses behind closed door may not have any furniture in that house.
Yeah.
You don't know. So don't keep up with the Joneses.
Don't
Keep
do
up.
that.
Yeah, take your journey. Your journey is so important because when you get to that place called there, you're going to respect it and appreciate it more because you're going to know the struggles and the sacrifices that you had to take to get there.
I taught a lesson probably this time last year about the difference between Job's life and Jeremiah. That Job went through the struggle. He went bankrupt. He had to start all over. But a lot of times we're just looking at Jeremiah. What's the scripture? Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you. We just want the end of that, and we're not looking at the journey of it. But if you study Job's life, you know that it wasn't just a journey, it was a struggle. It was a uphill battle. Yes, that was a Mount Everest of a struggle. And so if we are mindful of that, then we don't get as discouraged when we see our friends and our family, you know, they're driving the nicer cars or they're going on the trips and stuff, but we're steady writing. We're steady planning. What are we doing? We're bidding for grants and stuff. You know, you just have to decide what it is that you want to do. Right. And then you have to be tenacious about it.
You have
to.
You have to make some boss moves.
There you go. Okay. Right. Okay. So is there anything else you want to tell us or share about your journey?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I am in the process of creating what I called Rewire Me.
Okay.
That's a mentor program that I'm starting. It's called Rewire Me. And when the Rewire Me, what it's all about is sometimes people are not where they want to be because of the way of thinking that they've gotten from somewhere along the way. And we need our thoughts rewired. Okay. Back to what God has planned for us. Because like you say, his plans for us are all good. So we got to get the negative stuff out and replace that with not just positivity, but action. So I'm with this, I'm doing a mentorship program, which starts in September the 15th. And it's going to be a 6 to 9 month program. And it's going to be a graduation. I'm also going to do a different version of it online for people who can't actually make it once a month to the thing. It's going to be on a webinar. Webinar based, and it's going to be slightly different information than what the ones who are coming out there are getting. And it's a very small fee for it. For the one online, it's $15. The one in person is $25 per person because of the material that I'll be bringing and that we'll have for the
And what's the age group?
The age group is 18 on up, females.
Females,
It
okay.
is actually, it's set up as a co-ed type of mentor program because I brought it from the Bible. But it's a co-ed type of program, but it's going to start out with women. But it can easily be switched over for men as well because of the things that we're teaching and the things that we're doing.
Yeah, that's good. Want to hear more about that. Yeah. I actually met a lady in a store yesterday what's today, Saturday, Thursday, and she is from DeSoto, Cedar Hill, and she said that she wants to start a mentoring program. She said, it's not anything out here for young ladies. And I was like, well, that's strange. I mean, I have plenty of people in DeSoto, but the fact that she thinks that and she lives out there means that we have a lot more work to do, don't you think?
A lot of work to do.
Yeah, so I think it'll be well received.
Yeah, and it's for people who are in church and outside of church. It's going to be something that's really helpful. I know it's going to be effective because it's what God gave me to do. And when I know that He gave it to me and I'm being obedient, it's going to help somebody. Somebody. We just have to be in the right place to get that help.
Right, I agree. So ladies, if you have any questions, please come up to the mic. We're about finished with Naomi's segment. I sure appreciate her sharing with us. Okay, in the name of the show again, tell them where to Google you.
It is Boss Moves with Naomi talk show.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube and find that. And it's different segments of it. You'll see the different guests. So the interviewing section I always have with my guests is always separate than the rest of it.
And do you have a website, or everything is through the YouTube
Everything
channel?
is through YouTube, my YouTube channel right now. It's being, video. My sons are the camera guys.
Loading up.
Yeah, so they do all the work.
Team.
I have a team working with me, and they actually do the work, and I think they do very well.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for coming this morning.
Well,
we
thank you for having me.
Yes. Great.
I would like to invite everybody to the next one. It's on July the 22nd, and it's going to be right here. It's on a Sunday at 3 p.m. And the guest that I have, she is phenomenal. I just, women,
Some
seriously.
of you know her. Go say her name.
Cheryl Williamson, Pelote Williamson. And she is awesome. She's written various books, about 10 different books. Sold Out was one of them, right? She's written about 10 different books. She actually produced a show that I went to see, and it was really, really good. I mean, a play that I went to see, and it was really good. Sold Out. But she's going to be the guest, and she is a transformational speaker. So I will have her to do a lot of talking, but it's going to be something that's going to penetrate you, really penetrate. She's very powerful.
She is.
She
She's
really
awesome.
is. So, and I love it. So I had to have her on the show.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.